Hi, this is Raj from MR Sportscars. In this video I'm going to talk through some of the factory options you could get on these lovely 987 Gen 2s and also some of the things you can do as aftermarket sort of OEM plus upgrades, because both of these cars are fantastic basalt black S models. So they're 3.4 manuals, both of them, but they have very different specs, both from the factory and also the stuff that's been added. So this car has the lovely Carrera Sport alloy wheels, which we've refurbished in a custom colour. So that's agate grey metallic with a diamond cut edge. Those wheels are half an inch wider than all the other option of 19-inch wheels. This car has the 19-inch sport design wheels, but it has wheel spacers. So I think the rears were, from memory, 15mm. And the fronts were 7mm. So that has a similar effect to what these do from the factory, which is push the wheels out into the wheel arches. Both cars have PDLS, so these are the dynamic cornering headlights. You can normally tell because they have this dual spot pattern there, and they also have the headlight washers as well. So that's an easy way to tell whether it has the Xenons or the PDLSs. Does it have washers? If it doesn't have washers, it's more than likely a car with just the halogen headlights, which aren't as bright. They're perfectly fine for the UK, but they aren't as bright. This car's got the Zun Sport grille, which protects the air conditioning condensers and the radiators behind them from leaves and other stuff building up and then rotting those out. This car's had all of the exterior plastics plasti dips. That's where you put a permanent coating on top of them, and then they're lacquered, I believe, protected with a clear coat. So that's a carbon effect. They're not actually carbon, they're the standard grills. They would have looked like this, and also like what you see behind here, like a satin plastic, just like you've got on this section here. But they've been changed on this car. This car's obviously been lowered, so you can see that car hasn't got PASM, so that's the standard height. This car hasn't got PASM either, but it's been lowered 30mm, so it's about 20mm lower, 2 centimeters lower than a car with PASM. And it's all, the wheel alignment has all had to be done to match that lower setup. So it is a what I call a fast road spec. This car's got the switchable factory sports exhaust, and it's got the sports tailpipe, so it has these ridged sections within the stainless steel tailpipe. This car's got the standard exhaust with the standard stainless steel tailpipes that you get on the S, but this car's had what's called the Revolution Porsche exhaust modification. So that's where they take the centre back box, they cut it open, they remove some of the they change the pipework within the back box, and then they re-weld it back up. And it's actually on the top side of the back box, so it's not visible from the underside, but it gives it a very similar sound to the switchable sports exhaust, I find. So really nice mod on that. I think it's somewhere in the region of £500 or £600 from memory. There is an invoice for it. This car's got an aftermarket ducktail. So it's still got the standard spoiler, which is going with the car, but that makes it much more like the Cayman rear finish, whereas that's the standard spoiler finish that you see there. So it's flush with the bodywork, whereas that makes it more pronounced. I'll just show you that actually on a Cayman S I've got here in the same colour, basalt black. Excuse the wheels, they are my temporary wheels while the cars have their wheels refurbed. But there is that. That's much more similar to that aftermarket spoiler. Yeah, so now I'll just carry on going through these lovely boxes. I mean, it's not often we have so many 987 Gen 2s, because they are harder to find now in this kind of condition, with all of the bits and all of the service history and everything else. From the factory also, these two cars were spec'd very differently on the inside. So this car has the extended black leather. It has the very rare to find in a Boxster, I find, the 16-way adaptive hardback sports seats. So they have the grey plastic backs, as you can see. Bolsters are fully adjustable. It has lumbar support as well, and everything is electric on those seats. Plus it has the optional seat heating, climate control as well. Obviously, as I said, they're both manuals, but this car has the numeric shift cables, short shift cables, so that makes the throw a bit shorter. It's got a retrimmed steering wheel, which has got red stitching, thicker leather on there, and a 12 o'clock in red there. But otherwise, that's the standard wheel. I think this car had retrofitted the cruise control as well. And so that extended leather doesn't just affect the dashboard, it also puts leather on the tops of the doors here. So it's not just the armrests, which is leather, it's everything on there is flocked in leather, as well as the dashboard, top, bottom, as well as the sides there, which comes as standard. So it brings it much more in line with what it's like from with regards to a 911 of the year. 911s tended to have the extended leather, when the UK anyway. I'm not sure about other regions, but we all got extended leather on the 997 Gen 2s. This car has Bose as well, so it has that subwoofer there, has Bose on these speakers here, so that elevates the sound. And obviously it's had an aftermarket CarPlay system fitted, so that's the Sony system, so it has buttons here. Some people prefer the Sony ones because they actually have buttons rather than just touch areas on the screen itself. So it kind of, as well as having the touch screen, it does have some buttons for the volume and things like that, which people quite like. I quite like it myself. And then this car doesn't have the extended leather, so you can see that these doors have got like a plastic finish. Only the door handle and the cover for the storage in the side there is leather. The rest is all like a soft plastic. Same with the dash, soft plastic there. Glove box, the surrounds there. Now this car, the last owner, we've sold this about 3 times now. This car, the last owner had the centre tunnel all painted. As you can see, that's in gloss black. That plastic dip carried on here, but this is the optional carbon fibre door entry guards. I'll just show you the standard ones in this Boxster here. Again, it's great to have 2 cars to show you the differences that are possible. So there is the standard Boxster S door entry guards, and these are the factory option Boxster S. The last owner also wanted to make more of the optional red dials that this car has by ordering from Porsche a brand new set of red floor mats, and that also goes with the optional red seat belts that this car had. It doesn't have Bose, so instead of having the Bose subwoofer there, it has this storage area above the engine. The rollover bars are also painted in basalt black from the factory, so that's the same metallic as the bodywork, whereas this would have been the standard finish you would have got if that car hadn't have been spec'd with that. Now the seats are the basic seats, so they're called the comfort seats in this era, but they've been spec'd with the optional embossed headrests. Just a 2-way electric, so it's just this bit that's electric, the rest is all manual, so height adjustment and the moving it back and forward is a handle there. No lumbar support, no adjustable bolsters. The bolsters are slightly smaller as well, but this car was optioned with the multi-function steering wheel, so you've got buttons for, in this case, a Pioneer aftermarket head unit, which again has CarPlay. A lot of people are doing these changes, either the CarPlay systems from Pioneer, Sony, and there is one other make that a lot of people use. But yeah, there's 3 brands that are very popular, but the other option is if you've got a sat-nav system in one of these cars, you can have the NM Automotive or similar Mr. 12 volt, those kinds of systems where they retrofit in another motherboard into the PCM3, and it gives you CarPlay as well as having all the standard head unit functionality, so the standard Porsche navigation and Bluetooth and everything else. But this car has that lovely Pioneer system, which actually has, it doesn't have physical buttons, but it has sort of like touch areas on the side of the screen there, as I said. Now this car came with the factory short shift kit, so the throw I think is about the same as that numeric one. It came with a switchable sports exhaust, as I said, so it has the extra button there, and it came with the sport chrono system, so it has that dashboard mounted stopwatch, has the sport button, which all it does is make the throttle livelier. There is an aftermarket system that people plug into their pedal, which I've used before, which works really well. It does a similar thing, but it's nice to have that as an option, and that can be retrofitted on the other car. You just wouldn't get the physical stopwatch on the dashboard. Now, this car doesn't have cruise control, so it only has the 3 stalks rather than the 4th one down there. So that's one thing that's different between the two. And as I said, this whole section here was plasti dipped as well, so that sort of elevates that feel of getting in and out. It's not quite the same carbon pattern, obviously they haven't matched it perfectly, but it's still a nice addition on this car. As I said, it has those lovely red dials as well, which again are a nice factory feature. I think some people can sell you dial kits to take apart your instrument cluster and add those in, but they're the ones from the factory there. In terms of other options, I think that's about it. But basically, the whole look and feel of these cars can be very easily transformed. Yes, it does cost money. This whole suspension setup on this car probably cost in the region of £1,600 with all the fitting of the springs, the realignment, and also fitting the wheel spacers and buying wheel spacers as well. But it does transform how this car handles compared to this car, which is obviously factory standard in its setup. Also the wheel width does make a difference. This one's got a bit more, I don't know, it just feels a bit more stable than a car without those Carrera Sport wheels. But yeah, that can be replicated by doing a similar thing to what this car's had done, which is the wheel spacers, the lowering and the realignment. I think both are great. Both are very different, and it's quite nice to see that after all these years, I mean, both of these are 2009 cars. That's a 2010 model year, but produced in October 2009. This is an April 2009. As you can see, they're still being cherished. They're being slightly customized to suit particular owners. Everything is reversible, which is also good to see. But they do make great weekend B-road blasters, and that's what people tend to be using them for now, I think, is enjoying them, especially with the manual gearbox. But as I said, it's unusual for us to have these cars. This car's on its way out today. There you can see there's the sport design wheels that are going to go on that Cayman S. They've just been picked up. They've been refurbished by our guys, Letchworth Diamond Wheels, who are sensational at doing wheels. They take the tyres off, properly blast insides and outs, as you can see, oven bake, powder coat and then oven bake them. And then they completely rebalance them with the tyres refitted. So they're ready to go back on that Cayman S. And we've done these in brilliant sparkling silver. So it's got a very nice metallic fleck, which you might be able to see. But that will really look great. The finish on the other ones were looking a bit tired. They weren't curbs. They were just, the silver was not looking as fresh as it could do. So we had those done. We often do wheels just like we've done these lovely Carrera Sports. They were previously silver on the inside with the diamond cut edge, which didn't make enough of a thing of a diamond cut edge in my opinion. So I always try and do them a bit darker. This finish was actually from the factory. It's sport design, but with gloss black with a silver edge. So it's not, I don't think it's diamond cut. I think it's painted silver. Very difficult to replicate with most places. Most places would probably do a diamond cut edge, but these have definitely been painted silver with the gloss black. Both cars are, as I said, are the S model, so they have the amazing 3.4 litre flat six, 310 horsepower. There's not really any engine modifications that I find make a difference to how these cars perform. I think Porsche did a great job of sort of eking everything out of that 3.4 litre normally aspirated engine. The brakes on Carrera S's are bigger than on the 2.9s, and they have the guards red calipers to sort of distinguish them. What would have been called the turbo brakes on 911s, they would always have the red calipers, so that was carried across to the Caymans and Boxsters of this era. So they make a more of a thing of the brake setup, which I think looks really nice, regardless of what you decide to do with the rest of the car. This car actually has another difference, is actually this. Most of them have the rear parking sensors. So you've got those there, 4 of them. This car wasn't spec'd with the parking sensors, so it's got a cleaner finish on the rear bumper. That's not as often you see that. You tend to see most have the rear parking sensors. You couldn't get front parking sensors on 987 Gen 2s, but you could get them on the later 981s. I hope you found this video useful, sort of getting to understand some of the physical optional differences you can get on cars that you buy, from both from factory optional customizations, but also aftermarket as well. And there are things on this car that were from the factory that you could, if you really wanted to, you could do aftermarket, such as I said, the dials. You can even change the belts, obviously the mats. You can get the center console painted. You can even have these rollover bars painted like this one has, even though that was from the factory. You could have those silver ones done. And the list really goes on. Obviously, wheels make a big difference, I think, as well. Most people tend to prefer you sticking to the Porsche branded BBS wheels that you find on all of these cars. They're all manufactured by BBS, I believe, rather than going aftermarket. This is a set literally I just use for running the cars around when the wheels are being refurbed. And as you can see, I mean, to me, that kind of spoils the look of the car. So I'd never sell them with a car, but they're just useful because they actually fit on 987s and also 981s and 991s and 997s. So they're a great set of wheels just to have to sort of cart wheels around to. Wheel refurbers like those have just come back from. It means the car's still mobile. But I do think that a lot of people, if they're going to change the wheels, they try and go for a Porsche design that's built and sort of, styled to suit Porsches. But that's it. That's my own personal preference. Obviously, some of you may have different opinions. If you have any questions about Porsche modifications, particularly on 987 Gen 2s, please don't hesitate to comment below. Please do like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.